Hey guys, what's up? This is Scher talking. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be talking about my account update, the characters that I'm using, what I've been doing in the game, and also if I've been clearing content, my favorite characters. Well, let's just go here on the characters list. You guys, you see the characters that I'm using the most are probably the ones with higher HP. Madeline became my favorite character so far. At least I believe that she's in my most squads. She works for Zwig, she works for Tower, she works for Dojo, she works for farming. She does not work for bosses, but that's asking too much. I have been training her a lot. Sadly, her Tornado Blade is the only skill that I don't like. But Flash Lightning and Lone Moon are pretty awesome attacks with her style. And also, I do believe that those that still have gems and are thinking about skipping Gustav banner, they should try to get Madeline and Bune. Bune is already here as well on one of my characters with the highest HP, and I believe that she's also one of the best decisions to make. Since her SS staff is free, everyone can get, and Rising Earth is such a powerful attack. Also, Aerodyne is useful even on boss fights. Bune is that character that works in every single continent of the game, just like Blue and Rouge from Battle of Fate banner. Also, Liz and Polka do work in most content, but they use only single target attacks, and that makes them not that good for auto, especially for Zwig. But Bune can do everything. I still haven't leveled her 360 Delta to max, but this is also very strong. I believe Bune only gets stronger routine time because there will be more formations where she can be used. Bune is a specialist for auto farming and pairs very well with Barthélemy. Well, Barthélemy got a little less usage, but is still one of my top units, as you can see here. Barthélemy is one of the best investments in this game as well. He opened a new type of strategy to clear waves faster. Battle Hands is maxed as always. This guy is now level 50. There are some of my characters are not on level 50, like Madeline is still not on 50. She's on 48, but she'll be in 50 very close. Bune, I believe, is on 47. The Blue is on 50. This guy here is still like one of my favorite ones. I really like to use Storm Burst to kill some bosses. I also like to use his inheritance attacks. A lot of AoE options, also single target if you want. A boss killer, a farmer, well, just everything that you may want. And he pairs so well with Barthélemy because they can produce fire damage together in some stages where the enemies are weak to fire. And, well, there's no many other options for AoE. Then after Bune, Princess White Rose is being used a lot since there are a lot of enemies weak to Sun right now. And this version of Princess White Rose can get very strong if you are using the staff from Blue event. Blessed Guardian is powerful, very powerful. B attack, 9 BP coast, and the buff to Will. I also used her in some strategies recently to debuff the will of some bosses. Just like, you know, a character that not everyone still uses, but Judy is central to some strategies to inflict status ailments because of the intelligence and will debuff. She's a pretty strong unit even though she's platinum. And on this last month I was able to get the version of Gustav that everyone wants, the Battle of Bucket Hill Gustav. I even invested so much on him that now I have the Flowing Slash Awakened and double Flowing Slash. So he's just like the buff machine, and he will work pretty fine because I have Narwhal's daughter. I believe that in the future I will use Gustav even more than Global Exclusive Catarina because of this. This allows him to stay a little more time in the meta. But there will be a time where characters like Gustav that have low intelligence will have some difficulty inflicting status ailments. That's just the same case with Ocelus. She's also a character with very low intelligence. I did stop using her a little. I believe that once I got Madeline, she didn't need the help of Ocelus, although she still works well. But there's a problem with the first attack. She either starts with Whirlwind or Rosario Impale, so Ocelus is now way less used than Madeline. Another character that got me impressed is Princess Ray. I know that it's hard to make her work for farming if you do not want her to use Green Reaper. I believe the best usage of her is just to use her on turn 2 and turn 3 to insta-kill targets, but she could also be used to use Green Reaper and then Raven 2 times in a row for AoE damage. That still works, and she has a very powerful damage even though I didn't recognize this when she was released. I was thinking that she was more about just inflicting status augments, but the damage from Grim Reaper is pretty fine, and also one of the few magical attackers right now that has an 8 PP, so that she can use it twice in a 3-turn cycle. Just the same as Liz. And Liz, man, Liz is just like blue, but for water damage. It's just too much damage when you need this Dragon's Fury. She's essential to a lot of strategies where we face enemies with lots of HP. Recently, on the last chapter, she's been so much useful, even more than her brother. And her brother is even more powerful than her. Well, at least if you are considering the overall final damage. But Polka is not so used, since I don't really like to use a character that's not that reliable. Where is he here? Polka, here. And recently he got a little more usage, since all of the enemies are weak to heat. The past chapter was more about pierce damage, so I stopped using him for a while. I used Liz, but stopped using him, but now he's back on full power. On this month, we also got this global exclusive version of Monica, and this is still a work in progress, and I don't regret summoning for her because I got her pretty fast, but I still don't know what to do with this girl. Dazzling Ballet is pretty strong, but I don't need help on Dojo or Zui or Robin Cup. I play all of them in auto already, but for those that don't play them on auto, they will still have some very good usage of Dazzling Ballet. And also, Dazzling Ballet followed by Stingray is also a very good combination even for farming, even if she's not perfect. I have been using her a little more, and I fully awakened it to skills. I believe that this Monica will see even more usage as soon as she gets this future style. Yeah, it's one of those characters that I want to have all the styles. That happened with Genie, but I had to skip once in Genie, and well. Also, I decided by Galahad, and I do not regret this. Really don't regret. I really like to play with fast characters so you can determine which goes first and which one goes later, and Winter Storm is a huge role play for farming. Chili Breeze is also very strong. I mean, it's not that strong, but it's good to always have someone attacking with AoE all the time. There's nothing that changes his actions. He's an AoE master that will just keep using AoE attacks. He's also pretty nice for Zwig. Because of this, you want more AoE attacks there because it's hard to find a stage or wave on Zwig that only has 2 enemies. And if you have 3 enemies or more, you will always prefer to use AoE attacks. Galahad is pretty strong, he's still not maxed, but another character that it's just a matter of time to reach level 50. And I also recommend you guys doing the same. Those that got Galahad should get him maxed as soon as possible. Well, Rouge is less useful than Blue right now because Blue has a better damage and also more options with fire if you inherit Heat Wind and Heat Wave, sorry. I still use my Rouge, but just not that much. Let's even find him here. Yeah, he's here. Rouge. Raging Gust, you do a lot of damage against the enemies that are weak to Cold or Moon. Usually we have enemies more weak to Cold than Moon. I don't know why. Let's see about other characters that I'm using. I stopped using Ellen recently because most enemies were not so weak against Slash. The last stage from the recent chapter used her a little, but well, she's here sitting. Hoping for a boss that's super weak to Slash for me to use her. But now Final Emperor kind of made me very happy about him. I know that he's not that strong when compared to the other ones. He's just a little different than Global Exclusive Katarina or Bucket Hill Gustav. But it's so interesting to have a character that opens with 2 AoE attacks and then chooses a very powerful single target attack. And it's better than I thought when using Dragon Strike, especially if you are using him together with Madeline. They work so well. I didn't see it when I summoned for him, and I'm pretty happy. I believe that I'll keep using him for a long while. In boss fights, using Flowering Plume is also pretty satisfying. And a character that you like to play on Mano. I really like to play with some characters that are better on Mano, since, you know, challenges are something that you want to do once and then just auto. And that time is where you can test all your powerful characters that you trained for so much time. So Final Emperor was a good surprise for me. Let's see who else I've been using. I stopped using a little of Stun Yundin since she's not so good for farming, but for boss fights I still use her in most stages, in most challenges. Pretty nice character, just not that good for farming. Well, I still use Fairy a lot, especially the limited one with double trick, very close to max level. I still use Fuse. I really don't regret summoning for him. That's a pretty strong character that will insta-kill a lot of enemies, just like Award Claudia usefulness. She can paralyze, paralyze specialist and a confusion specialist. Two characters that are kind of a luxury. They are not necessary into any content, but they make everything so easier. I still use Claudia, and now Claudia plus Fuse on my Hidden Dojo squad. Yeah, they never leave the compositions. Let's see if there's any other character. Well, Penelope was a good surprise as well. I used her for some stages, but that's more because I failed to get some pierce damage dealers. That's the only reason why I used Penelope. She has very terrible agility. She barely attacks before the enemies. Yeah, have a lot of problems with her cyclings. But yeah, with the setup that you finish the first wave by yourself, she can still open with Heavy Strike, very powerful attack, and then Reaper. Not that bad. I also was able to get Albert, Death Albert, without having to use gems. I'm pretty happy with his results. Victor Blade's already maxed. I need to awaken the Radiant Blade, but it's just not my priority. And he's being used in some content. But right now, I prefer to use the Christmas Albert that I got to level 50 just to use that skill. He has a little more intelligence, but way lower agility. It's a funny thing that he insta-kill more often than the other Alberts. I stopped using Katarina like crazy because she was in most of my squads. Now she's not in all of them. Especially because there are more alternatives. I will still be playing with her, it's just not all the time. I awakened Swallow Reversal because I want to get this maxed. It's just like Liz in Princess Ray, an attack that uses only 8 BP, so you can use it twice in a cycle. Either turn 1 and turn 3, or turn 2 and turn 3. Very powerful, and I want this maxed as well. But I will keep using this one as my main. Even though this one is better, the style level is pretty far from 50, and I don't want to use gold pieces. After that, I still play with Gustav now, with some strategies because of double flowing slash and double crush. Let's see if there's some other characters. Julian lost a little of his usage. It's probably because I'm way too powerful right now, but I still like him. Don't regret getting him. ScherBR was very helpful for a while since I was lacking Pierce. And Final Empress, this version of Final Empress do way more damage than I expected. I don't like Waterfall Blade in the middle here, but depending on how you do, you can start with V-Impact and then just keep using Half Moon Blade until you get the V-Impact again. I don't think you ever get V-Impact again because it needs so many turns, but it was a nice surprise seeing that this version of Final Empress is just so much stronger than the other one. The healer one, even stacking STR buff, cannot reach the power of the Platinum one. Very incredible thing. ScherBR, okay, Sophia, this version of Sophia, man, she's now on my Hidden Dojo team because I don't want to lose. But she's just a mixed bag. I just think that passives like the first one that increases the resistance against damage if everyone is alive will be more important in the future. Right now she is keeping some people alive in some challenges, and the challenges are getting super hard now, so Sophia has a place in your squad maybe. She can be used here and there for me, but not all the time. Okay, so, well, I think this is the list of the characters that I've been using the most. I talked about Judy. I stopped using a little Vampire Lady since she's still very good, but she's losing her spot to Madeline because Madeline brings more damage. Vampire Lady is still a better tank than Madeline. Madeline is only a tank for 1 turn, and Vampire Lady is a tank for the whole fight. She keeps healing herself to max. And that's funny because Inhale Energy is a 3 VP skill, and Sophia that could also heal cannot do this. And that's the reason why I sometimes do not think about using her in challenges. Blast Heal uses 5 BP. Another character that makes no sense, it's better for the first skill, is Mayor. The Mayor Groove increases his will, also recover HP, and also do damage, and it's only 3 VP. But it loses 1 LP. It's crazy, right? But he has 10, I don't know, maybe you can use this as a sacrifice. I also have been using this guy here, and I really like him. A very funny character to play. I like to play with different characters and have like different strategies. I got this guy here and I'm training him, but I still haven't found a way to use him because, well, he barely fits in any squad that I use. I guess I still train my Robin, although he is not that used anymore. Bunny is like one of my worst decisions, I believe. I got Bunny before Emilia, I don't really remember. Bunny and Thomas are still one of the characters that I barely use, that I summoned and I kinda regret. But all the other ones are still very top. And I believe that it ends here. Yes, those are all the characters that I have been using. And the other formation that I've been using all the time is Tiger Shark, and I want to show you some of my current strategies for Hidden Dojo. I never lose anymore. I have some very good squad, and this is one. As you can see, Madeline's on the front. I removed Halloween Vampire Lady since I really don't need her anymore. I have Sophia because it's an emergency healer, and she reduces the incoming damage as well. There's Fuse and Award Claudia. As you can see, that's not much damage. I could have been using Barthélemy or Biune here, but I really want to just paralyze or confuse my enemies, and this is always better. Now this time there's only 3 enemies, it will be super easy. I don't even know if they are susceptible to paralyze or confusion. They attacked all before me. Yeah, this one even used 2 attacks already. Yeah, Ward Claudia just gets better and better. The damage is pretty high. As we can see, this time we didn't even confuse or paralyze our targets, but it's still very hard to lose this battle. $800 damage, pretty high. Well, she's dead now, but we have 2 healers here. Princess White Rose is just overkill for him. Overkill. Yeah, guys, I just wanted to say that this is the squad that I've been using, the characters that I've been using. Thank you all for watching this video. I just want to say that you guys rock, and that's the reason that I'm keeping this channel. If you want to support it, you can use the links in the description of the video. Then we see each other on the next one. Bye.